All right, so in this tutorial, we're going to go over how to use the Shopify admin panel. So to get to the admin, you go to your store's URL and then you add /admin at the end of that, at which point it'll prompt you to log in. And then once you log in, you'll see this, and this is your Shopify store admin dashboard. So over here on the left-hand side are the main sections of the dashboard. The first one is the home section, and this just gives you a broad overview of all sorts of areas on your store. Then there's the order section. This is where you'll find customer orders that they've placed on the site. Here is the product section. So this is where you'll find all your products. You'll be able to add new products, edit existing products, etc. Then there's the customer section. So this is where you'll find any customers that have purchased something through your store, as well as anybody who has signed up for your email list. Then there's the finances section. So this is basically reports that show you how your store is doing financially. Then you've got the analytics section. So this is analytics that are non-finance related. So this might be something like your daily traffic patterns, the live traffic on your site, stuff like that. And there's the marketing section. So this is where you can set up and run email marketing campaigns. It's also where you can integrate with various ad platforms like Google Ads or Facebook ads. Then there's the discount section. So this is where you'd create a discount, whether that's a discount code for something like a sale or an automatic discount to apply. For example, you might have an automatic discount that grants free shipping after a certain purchase limit is met. Then there's the apps section. So this is where you're going to find third-party applications that have been installed in the store, and it's also where you'll be able to install new third-party applications. And then down here is the sales channels section. And for most folks, they're only going to have the online store here, and that's just your Shopify store. Some folks might opt to have other sales channels that they'll add here. So for example, if you wanted to sell through the Facebook marketplace as well, you could add that as a sales channel. If you have a physical retail location and you want to use the Shopify POS to take sales through that as well, you might also have that as a sales channel here. And then at the very bottom, there's the settings section. And this is sort of a catch-all for anything that doesn't quite fit in the other more frequently used sections. So here in settings, you'll find things like your account settings. You'll have shipping and delivery settings, tax settings. You'll be able to set up gift cards here. You'll manage legal documents in here and permissions and things of that nature. All right, so next up is the order section, and this is where any orders that are placed on your site are going to be found, and you'll be able to actually go in and manually fulfill those orders for your customer here. So there are three sections here in orders. There's all orders, drafts, so that's draft orders, and then abandoned checkouts. So let's start with all orders. So you'll notice this is where you find all your orders. This one, for example, has already been fulfilled, so that means a shipping label has been printed out, the item's been sent out to the customer, and prior to all that, they paid. Here's an example of an unfulfilled order. So this individual, in this case, tester Lester, on March 10th, went onto the site and paid for an order for a product, but we haven't fulfilled it yet. So we haven't actually printed the shipping label and sent it to them yet. So if we click into this, the simplest way for us to fulfill this order is to go right here and click Create Shipping Label. So at this point, when we do that, Shopify will help to automatically create a shipping label for us so we can print it out and get it sent to the customer. If we need to override that for some reason, we can go ahead and manually fulfill the item here. So perhaps we already printed out a shipping label from somewhere else, or maybe the customer happened to stop by our store and we just gave it to them in hand there. But whatever reason, if we need to override this, we can just use fulfill item here. And then another important feature here is the refund option. So if we want to refund a customer, we can handle that right here. And then if we scroll down here, we can see there's info about the customer, their contact information, their shipping address. There's this great little section here called fraud analysis, which is Shopify giving their prediction about how likely this order might be fraudulent. And then there's a timeline over here where we can see all the steps timeline-wise of this order, and we can see notifications that have gone out to the customer. We can even resend a notification if we want to right here. Okay, and then let's go to the draft orders. So a draft order is one where we have an order created, but it hasn't been paid for yet. And this doesn't really come up with the actual site. So when somebody wants to purchase something on your site, they're going to go place the item in the cart, then go through the checkout process, finishing by paying, and then that is going to be an active order that's unfulfilled until we fulfill it. But let's say somebody calls in to our store or maybe sends us an email and they just want help actually placing an order. We can do that for them if we want. So we can come into the draft section here and click create order. And maybe they tell us that they want some gray and white controller protectors. Okay, and so at this point we can create the order for them. And we could collect payment right away over the phone with pay by credit card. Maybe they came to us in person and they handed us cash, so we could just mark it as paid right here. Or maybe they want an invoice, and we can go ahead and send them an invoice with this button here. And so once this order is actually paid for, it's no longer a draft order. But until it's paid for, so perhaps we send them the invoice and maybe we wait a few days until it's actually paid. During that time, it's a draft order. And once it's paid, it'll go ahead and make its way over to the all orders section and it'll be listed as unfulfilled until we actually fulfill it. And then there's the abandoned checkout section. So here you'll find basically any carts where the folks began the checkout process but didn't quite finish it. So you can see what abandoned checkouts have been made. This can be really useful for things like retargeting. And you can also get a sense of any sorts of maybe patterns you see here of certain products that are being abandoned at checkout, things like that. So, all right, so next we're going to talk about the product section. So this is where all your products are going to be listed. So if you come here to all products, you'll notice all your products are listed right here. Some of the other sections that you'll find here are the inventory section, transfers, collections, and gift cards. So we'll touch on each of these, but for your products, you'll see them all here. You'll be able to quickly filter between active products, draft products. So perhaps you want to add a new product, but it's not ready to be actually placed on the store just yet. You'd find that in here. And then archived. These would be things that are basically deleted, but they're not gone forever. They're archived. It's sort of like the recycling bin. So here are active products. So you can add a new product up here in the upper right-hand corner. And then you just have to add a bunch of information, the title, description, you can add pictures, the pricing for it, different SKU information if there are different types or variants of this product. Let's click into an existing one here. So I can go ahead and edit the title, the description. Down here you'll see that there are two different variants. There's the gray variant and the black variant. So we can get these controller knuckle straps in either gray or black. And then furthermore, we can edit specific information about each variant if we click in here. So here is the gray variant, and we can go ahead and customize the information about this variant here. And then down here, there's SEO related things. So if we want to edit how it shows up on a search engine, we can edit that right down here. Okay, next up, let's talk about inventory. So in this case, it's not showing up for a lot of these products, but usually you'll see all your products here, and this is where you can manage your actual inventory for different products. So if you get new shipments of product in, or certain products go out the door, you can just manage those numbers here so that if you're out of a product, you can ensure that folks aren't continuing to buy it on the site and things like that. There's transfers. So transfers, many folks don't opt to set this up, but it's a really powerful feature if you do want to set it up. It basically allows you to track incoming inventory from your suppliers, and it just enables you to handle some of those inventory logistics in a bit more robust way than simply the inventory tab. Then there's the collection settings. So collections are basically categories of products. So You might have a bestsellers collection. If you're a clothing store, you might have a men's collection, a women's collection, a kids collection, things like that. And then here is gift cards. So if you want to create gift cards or issue gift cards to specific people, you can manage all your gift cards here. And so that is the product section. All right, so the next section here is the customer section. And this is where you're just going to get information about your customers. So you'll notice all your customers are listed here. You can quickly filter by new customers. You can look at returning customers. So these are folks who have come and purchased multiple times from your site. You can also look at abandoned checkouts here. So that's another way to access that. And then email subscribers. So you can look at folks who have signed up for your email list, but perhaps haven't bought anything, but maybe they have. So you can go ahead and just click on a specific customer and you can look at info about this customer. And this is a great way to learn a little bit about your customers, particularly those who are returning customers or folks that seem to spend a lot of money or time on your site. You can get a sense of who those folks are and be able to cater better to what they're looking for. So that's really it from the customer section. You can also add a customer up here if you want to manually add somebody. Not super common, but you can do that. Okay, so the next section is the finances section, and this is where you get a snapshot of the finances on your site. So here under the overview, you'll find just a lot of high-level reports on your sales, earnings. You can see some trends over time, things like that. And then here you have the billing section. So this is where you can look at any bills you might have. So this would be, you'd find billing for your actual Shopify payment plan, the credit card that you're using for that. Perhaps if you have subscribed to any third-party apps, you would find those bills in here as well. And then lastly, there's the payout section. So this is where you're going to find actual payouts to your bank account from revenue that you've generated on your site. So when folks buy your products, every few days you're going to go ahead and get a payout from Shopify, and you'll be able to see those listed here so you can track how those payouts are coming from the site into your bank account. And so that really sums up the finances section. So next we'll talk about analytics. All right, so the next section is the analytics section. There are three areas here. There's the dashboards, reports, and live view. So with dashboards, you're going to get all sorts of different useful metrics for your store, things from sales to returning customer rate to store sessions. You can see sessions by different device types. There's all sorts of useful analytics information here. And then you can go to the reports area where you can get slightly more detailed reports and also create custom reports right here. And then lastly, there's the live view. And this is where you can hop in and see in real time where folks are accessing your store from all around the world. And generally speaking, Shopify has some great analytics that it comes with like this. Many folks also opt to add Google Analytics as well to their Shopify store, as it's even more powerful. So Shopify provides these analytics, which are pretty useful to most folks and a little bit easier to manage than Google Analytics. But for more powerful analytics, folks usually turn to Google Analytics. So that sums it up for the analytics section. So next we'll talk about the marketing section. All right, the next section here is the marketing section. This is something that some folks don't utilize very much at all. Other folks utilize really heavily. It's pretty powerful and allows you to integrate with all sorts of outside marketing platforms as well as some internal Shopify stuff, and just simplifies the marketing process when it comes to connecting it to your Shopify store. So up here in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the Create Campaign button. So you can get a sense here of the different types of marketing campaigns that Shopify allows you to really easily send through Shopify. So there's Shopify email. This is where you can go ahead and create an email marketing campaign right inside of Shopify. There are various Facebook ad campaigns that you can run connected right to your Shopify account. Microsoft Smart Shopping, Pinterest, Snapchat, Yahoo, And there's some others that you can integrate with, like you can see here, there's Google, and that comes in the form of a third-party app. So this area is whatever sort of marketing campaigns that you want to run. You can always use outside third-party systems to do it, but if they have an integration with Shopify, it just makes it a little bit easier. So to actually see the campaigns that you have, you go to the campaigns section. In this case, it looks like there was a test email campaign right here. And then lastly, there's automations. And so this is all about certain actions that are taken on the site and then launching some sort of marketing action or marketing automation based on that. So as an example right here, this is a default feature, which is pretty nice and powerful. It says abandon checkout emails. So this is when someone begins the checkout process, they enter their email in, they have products in their cart, but then they leave the site for some reason. So they start the checkout process, but they abandon that checkout. Shopify handles emailing that person a few days later to remind them about their abandoned checkout. This is a pretty powerful automation, and this comes default. So that really sums up the marketing section. It's pretty powerful and flexible. All right, so next up, we're going to talk about the discount section. So under the discount section, there are two main types of discounts. There are discount codes and automatic discounts. So a discount code is perhaps there's a sale and the code for the sale is like sale 2021. And when someone enters that code, maybe they get a certain percentage off, or maybe they get free shipping, or whatever the promotion is. That's how discount codes work. Then there are automatic discounts. And so these are discounts that will automatically be applied to someone's checkout given certain variables. So perhaps that's, if they spend more than a certain amount, they get free shipping, or maybe if they spend over a certain amount, they get a certain percentage off. So for discount codes, the way to create one is go ahead and create a discount here. Then you select which type. So choose a discount code. Here's where you actually create the code. So you can see as an example, it says spring sale there. And there are all sorts of types. So you can have a percentage discount, you can have a fixed amount discount, a free shipping discount, or sort of like a buy one, get one type discount, but you can use any numbers you want. And basically you go through the configuration of all the different aspects of this discount in here. And then alternatively, you can create an automatic discount. And similarly, it can be a percentage, a fixed amount, a buy one, get one type discount, and other configurations. In this case, does it apply to all products, specific collections, specific products, things like that. You can also set when these discounts are active, including with the discount codes. So you can set it such that it doesn't become active till a certain point in time. Also, you can ensure that it stops working at a certain point in time. For example, if it's a spring sale, you could set it to stop at the end of spring, something like that. So that's the discount section. So whenever you want to create discounts for your store, you do it right here. All right, so the next section we'll talk about here is the app section. So this is where you'll be able to manage and add any third-party applications to your store. So as you come into the app section, you'll see all your current apps listed here. So if you need to do any sort of management for that app, you can click into them like so, and it'll eventually take you to the dashboard for that app. And each app might have their own dashboard and they might look a little bit different. But then if you want to add a new app, you come up here to the upper right-hand corner and click Customize Your Store, at which point Shopify is going to take you over to the Shopify App Store, and you can go ahead and search for an app that you want to use. So in this case, we have some here in the spotlight. So if we wanted to use this app here called Rebuy, we'd click on it, we'd click Add App, and then it would take us back to our store, and we'd go ahead and look at the permissions and decide if we want to install it or not. So that pretty much sums up the app section. So apps are managed and added here. All right, so next we're going to talk about sales channels here. And as you see here, there's a little plus button where you can add any sales channels that you'd like. It comes by default with the online store sales channel. That's your Shopify store. So pretty much everybody has one of those, and most folks only have that. But if you'd like, you can add a point of sale system. If you're doing point of sale retail in person, you can sell through eBay on here. You can sell through Google, Facebook, Pinterest, and a few others as well. So it's pretty powerful if you want to start selling through channels other than simply your online store. But let's hop into the online store right here. So this is where your site lives. So right here, when we hop into themes, you'll see the current theme that's live for your site. And this is where you can customize that theme if you want to tweak certain things about it. Maybe you want to change an image or change some of the wording on the site. So you do that here. Down here, you'll see your theme library, and this is, in many cases, you might see some backup themes here. You might see some things called staging themes. So if you're working with a developer who has a staging environment and a production environment, you may see staging themes down here. But these are other themes that can be utilized, or other versions of the existing theme. Then over here, outside the theme section, is blog posts. So this is where you would create any blog posts that you'd like for your site. So some folks have a blog on their site, some folks don't. Having a blog can be a great way to drive some inbound traffic for folks who are looking to learn about certain content or certain products. And it can be a great way to bring folks who want to learn about something related to your product, to bring them to your site so they can get something of value from you before they actually purchase. So for example, if you're selling clothing, you might have a blog post about different types of swimwear, for example. And that might be a great way to get folks to come to your site, read about swimwear, and then maybe browse some of your products. Then you've got the pages section here. So this is for pages that are not the standard Shopify pages. So with Shopify, pretty much every Shopify store has a home page. It has a collections page where you can browse all sorts of products in different collections at the same time. It also has a product page where you can actually look at a specific product. It has a cart page where a user can see what's in their cart. But let's say you want to add a different page. Maybe you want to add an about page, or maybe you want to add an FAQ page, or maybe you want a page that's totally custom to you, maybe a careers page. This is where you would do it. You would come in here, add a page, and add the content you'd like on that page in here. Then there's the navigations section. So this is where you manage menus. So in this case, there's a footer menu and a main menu. So this is where you would set things like, what does the menu link say and where does it point to? So menus are managed here under navigation. Then there's the domain section. So this is where you handle the domain for your website. And Shopify allows you to buy a new domain through Shopify right here if you'd like to, but you certainly don't have to buy through Shopify. You can buy from someone like GoDaddy or from Google Domains, and then connect your domain up here in the domains section. And then lastly, there's the preferences section. And these are just some various site, basically settings that don't quite fit in the other areas here. So in this case, there's the homepage title, that's some metadata, the meta description, this would be your social sharing, image preview. This is where you can set up Google Analytics, a Facebook pixel, if you want to have your store password protected, things like that. So this is the preferences area, and that pretty much sums up the online store sales channel. Okay, so the last section we're going to talk about is the settings area here. So this is sort of a catch-all for various settings. There are general settings here. Right here you'll find payments. So this is where you can set up a payment gateway. This is where You may handle what credit card is used for payments that you make to Shopify. Then there's the checkout section. So this is where you can customize the look of your checkout. So normally folks might add a logo there. They might add a banner image, maybe change the colors a little bit to match their branding scheme. Then there's the shipping and delivery section. So this is where you would set up different shipping rates. You would set up different types of delivery. So if you wanted to offer things like local delivery, or if you wanted to set up in-store pickup, things like that, you could set that up here. Taxes, so handling sales taxes for various states and different provinces. You can handle that here. Shopify does a great job of handling a lot of tax stuff for you, but if you need to customize something, that can be handled here. Locations. So this is locations of whether it's your retail store locations or locations of warehouses. So sometimes if folks want to fulfill from different locations, you can configure that here. So for example, maybe you have an East Coast and a West Coast fulfillment center. And so you want to make sure that folks that are ordering to be shipped to the West Coast have that fulfilled from their West Coast fulfillment center versus their East Coast one. Notifications, so this is where you can manage all sorts of notifications, things like emails that go to customers when they've placed an order, update emails to customers, notifications internally to your staff, things like that. Gift cards, this is just a great place to help manage gift cards. Files, so this is where you can upload images, videos, other documents, and use them in other places on the site. Some more settings for your sales channels. Here's the Shopify plan area. So if you need to upgrade your plan or downgrade your Shopify plan, you can handle that here. Users and permissions. So this is where you might add some new staff members, or if you're working with a developer, you could add them as a collaborator here. Markets. So this is where you can handle some different settings for different markets that you are selling into. As you can see here at this point in time, it's coming soon, but that should be available shortly. Store languages, sort of similar, but in this case, this handles various different languages that you might be selling to and handling some wording for different languages here. And there's the legal section. So this is where you'd handle things like your terms of service document, your privacy policy, your shipping and return policies. Those things will be managed in here. And then lastly is the meta fields section. So this is a somewhat new section that's pretty powerful. And what this allows you to do is on a product, if you want to add additional fields to products, you can do that through meta fields. So maybe your products have different trimmings, and maybe they have different metals that are associated with them. Whatever sort of custom different aspects to your products you might have, you can manage those in here. So that is the overview of the Shopify admin. Hopefully this has been helpful. And please feel free to reach out to us at AIsoft if you have any further questions. So you can email us at info@aisoft.dev. Thanks.